Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. The program will begin shortly. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the premier event for infrastructure innovation, Edge 2014. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome General Manager Sales, IBM Systems and Technology Group, and your host, Stephen Leonard.
Well, good afternoon, everyone, and a very warm welcome to Edge 2014. Now, how about another round of applause for those two incredible guitar players, Johnny Johnson and Brendan Niederauer. Excellent, excellent. Just so you all know, the younger one, Brandon, is actually a guitar prodigy. He's played with the Black Crowes, the Allman Brothers Band, he's performed at the New York Mets, and he's actually appeared on The Ellen Show, among many others. He's a great example of somebody who has a dream and is making it a reality. In fact, Brandon, why don't you come back out here for 2 seconds? Come on back out, Brandon. Hey, there you go, man. Hey, nice to see you. Great. So, Brandon, I bet playing for IBM is much more fun than playing with the Black Crowes. Now, you don't have to answer that question. So, tell us all. Everybody's really interested to know, how long have you been playing for now?
I've been playing for 3 years.
For 3 years. 3 years. Isn't that amazing? So I understand you've been playing a lot of concerts. You just finished up playing a big gig in Bermuda. Did you ever imagine you'd be doing all of this at the age of 11?
No.
No, I bet not. So you're living a dream now. How about the future? Where do you eventually see yourself?
Well, I would like to play, most places in the world. I mean, I like to explore the world everywhere.
Like when you...
I want to be like...
That's great. Woo! Thank you, Brandon. Thank you. That's excellent. Great. So Brandon's going to be back tomorrow with his band, not just himself and Johnny, but with his whole band tomorrow. So we're looking forward to that. So, the premier innovation. I'm delighted to see that we have over 4,200 people in the audience, 55 countries represented, and 22 different industries. Special conversation throughout Edge using hashtag IBM Edge. Now, we have outstanding speakers lined up, including many IBM clients and partners who will explore with us the engine is now critical to business success. So, why does infrastructure matter? Because we're at a tipping point where data, massive amounts of data, is defining the world around us, dramatically changing every business, every organization, every industry, and the roles within. As steam was for the 18th century, electricity was for the 19th century, and hydrocarbons were for the 20th century, data is the natural resource for the 21st century. It's the driver to make markets by transforming industries and professions. Therefore, we need a different IT model. The one designed for the 20th century will not work in the 21st century. That's why infrastructure matters. And this week, SiliconAngle accelerate IT to increase agility and deliver IT to enable better business outcomes. At Edge, we're sharing with you the what, why, and how that we have learned in over 20,000 client engagements globally in every region and every market. And that POV is summarized in the statement, yes, infrastructure matters. In today's session, we'll explore, and tomorrow we'll turn our attention to the how. It is our hope that when you leave Las Vegas, you're better enabled to make these important decisions on behalf of your organization. So let's begin by exploring in more depth why infrastructure matters now more than ever. In just a minute, my boss, Senior Vice President of IBM Systems and Technology Group, Tom Rosamilia, will be joining us here on stage to talk about this. But first, we wanted to share this video with you. Let's take a look.
Well, I think that sums it up. Infrastructure matters. Stephen, I was afraid Brandon was going to say he wanted to grow up to be head of sales for STG, and I was thinking about making him an offer. So you're lucky he wants to be a guitar player in the future. Listen, I think you could see by that video, I believe his weave that it does. I have the privilege, as you heard from Stephen, of running our hardware group and our supply chain group. And I will tell you that no matter what we do and no matter what you hear about the cloud, it's running on hardware somewhere. We have not yet figured out. Engineers are working on it. Researchers are thinking about it, but it still has to run somewhere. Infrastructure does matter, whether it's on-prem, whether it's off-prem, wherever it might be. You're depending on a level of quality of service. You're depending on it being there. And by the way, in this day and age, your customer is a swipe away. They'll go somewhere else. So let's talk about this. Now, increasingly complex workloads are putting infrastructures on overload. We're all living with this, and nobody's budget I've heard has gone up. Anybody's budget gone up in the last year? No. We're dealing with moving from monolithic applications to composable services, from program systems to cognitive, to more learning systems. We've got Watson, but we've got other examples like that as well. Stable, well-defined workloads to completely unpredictable workloads, from proprietary to open standards, from static infrastructure to dynamic structures defined by software. The reason for definition by software is agility, speed, flexibility, utilization. Unless you find the perfect workload for the perfect hardware and you run it flat out, you'll never be able to take advantage of that unless you can use software. Structured data at rest, you saw from the video, 80% of the data is unstructured data. And from standard devices to bring your own device and connect with your clients in all kinds of unique ways. And from corporate-owned IT exclusively to more and more infrastructure as a service, whether it's done on-prem or off-prem. Lots of trends out there that we're seeing. Now, it is imperative to build an infrastructure that enables growth. Why is that? People want to apply infrastructure to optimize revenue and profit. We've seen it in all our surveys. I'll take you through a new survey today, but all our C-suite surveys, people point to technology as an enabler, which is great. It's on the CEO's agenda, top of their list. Number one, technology as an enabler. Achieve competitive advantage. If you're not moving forward, you're falling behind. Support new business demands. We've all seen big data is just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. The cloud, mobile, and social to help drive your business. We found that organizations, on average, spend about 70% of their budgets just keeping the lights on. Now, I will tell you, we found some leading-edge companies that have gotten that down to 50. And that frees up other money to spend on new areas like mobile and social. Reducing infrastructure costs, we're all subject to that. Big data and analytics accelerate high-performance data capabilities. As I said, the cloud these days, I hear less about the economics and more about the agility, the flexibility, the speed with which I can onboard, how quickly I can acquire. And for us, mobile and social is not about just doing Facebook, but it's about relating that Facebook post with that transaction that you just did at a retailer. Or it's about relating that Twitter feed with the deposit you just made at your bank and the opinions that you have. So it's linking these things and doing it all in open ways. Now, we are going to be releasing a survey in July, and I'm going to give you a sneak preview of it. This has just recently been completed. We're still doing the work. We surveyed 750 organizations, 18 countries, 19 industries, worldwide, CIOs, CTOs, and other senior IT executives. What did we find? Infrastructure readiness for the new era? All wanted to talk about it. Top businesses and organizational challenges. Perception of IT and infrastructure, was it a cost center or was it a way to drive revenue? And cross-organizational collaboration was completely necessary. What we found, our first data point here, was that 70% of organizations believe IT infrastructure optimizes revenue and profit and is a key enabler. Great news. However, 10% said they're ready. 10% said they're ready. So we got a supply and demand issue here that we, as an organization, as our organizations, as leaders of our teams, have to solve to cross this chasm. Now, I'll give you a little bit of information. Hopefully you can see some of this in the back. But we identified a group we called the visionaries in this group. They had certain characteristics in common, and they were really leading edge in their visionary use of IT. And you can see that the difference between strategic, these visionaries, and those that were tactical, use of cloud computing, proliferation of smart and mobile devices, increased number of users and use and partnerships, growing demand for customers for seamless and integrated experiences. People want to have that integrated experience. And I will tell you, and then we'll have to wait for July for the rest of the results, but what we found was that these visionaries had higher profit margins, higher revenue growth, and higher earnings in general. So it is not an accident. These visionary companies using IT are working to lead their businesses. More to come on that in July. The right infrastructure is essential as we embrace these new workloads. The cloud, analytics, mobile and social, ensuring right-time decision making. And the bottom icon for me is about this connection between the front office, the mobile and social parts, and the back office, where systems of record still matter. There are things you need to do that you need to guarantee happen once and only once. You want to put money in your bank, you want to make sure it gets to the bank. You buy something, you want to make sure that transaction gets done, the inventory gets decremented, all kinds of things happen. It may originate on another device. In fact, we found huge numbers of our mainframe customers are finding that mobile is their #1 growth area of driving their transactions. Banks are finding more than half of their business is originating from mobile worldwide. Remember what you used to do? Put checks in a drawer, hard copy checks, we still get them. It's not paperless yet. Put them in a drawer, take them to the bank once every couple weeks. That's called batch processing, by the way. That's what we call that. Today, you take a picture, you send it to your bank. I take 6 pictures of 6 checks. That's 6 transactions. It's driving incredible volumes for us and for our clients. And again, I want to be able to link these systems. So, right infrastructure made with IBM, designed for the big data. Designed for big data from the ground up. All of our systems these days, we keep this in mind from the point of design to the point of delivery. Defined by software for the cloud. We've done lots of engagements. Just last year alone, 5,000 engagements between private and hybrid clouds. That hybrid cloud is that linkage between the system of engagement and system of record for the most part. And then lots of, obviously, of public cloud instances as well. Built for optimized engagement. These social and mobile applications have to be available, have to be secure, have to be connected to these other systems. We need to provide that level of integration. And then, as I said, we've chosen to do this, and not everyone has. We've chosen to do this in an open and collaborative way. So you can see the rich history of IBM. Most of these are software, though. You see Apache, Linux, you can see KVM, which we support broadly, OpenStack, and you can see OpenPower on here as well. So we're actually translating this to the next level and now doing it with hardware as well, all with an open ecosystem around it. Now, we're delivering high-performance capabilities across all of these different areas. Let me just highlight a couple. We found instances where a bank in Turkey saw write latency decreasing 93% with XIV. We see 91% of new customer-facing applications, as I said, accessing System Z on the back end. We see 1 yottabyte of data managed by IBM software-defined storage. More to come on software defined as you go later into the week. Jamie Thomas will be taking you through that. We made a big announcement in Boston last week around software defined storage. 82% faster insights with Power, Cognos, and DB2 Blue. Provisioning time reduced with StoreWise. The latest version of x86 that we're delivering, that Adalio will be taking you through, 100% faster compute performance, dramatically faster. These are the kinds of things we need to make sure we can do in this age of big data and social and mobile, whether it's on the cloud or it's private or it's on-prem. All of these capabilities are delivered in infrastructure in my part of the organization with the help of our partners. At the end, how can you leverage this? You've got to deploy cloud infrastructures, whether you're doing it on-prem, quick provisioning, get people up and running quickly, being that's the #1 reason they're looking for cloud, make sure these systems are utilized. You can't drive utilization without doing some kind of private cloud inside your system. Build an analytics infrastructure that ensures right-time decisions. You need access to real-time data. We need to blend these systems of engagement and systems of record as we do this. And as I said, integrate the devices, the applications, the mobile, the social, into our back-end systems. This combination is a very, very powerful combination, and we've seen lots of leading-edge customers doing this over and over. And I will tell you, if you're not doing it, you're going to be falling behind. And people are going to start asking you, hey, how do we do this? Now, the good news is, I would say, from the work we've done, is this room knows things that those other folks don't know. The line of business doesn't know the capabilities that you have. And you don't always know what they're looking for. What I'd really encourage you to do is work very closely with your line of business. Some of the survey data shows this, so that you can show them, hey, I have that data. We can combine these things. We can do it smartly. We can do it so it's scalable. We can do it so it's secure. And we can get business value from this. So that's the conclusion I would like to leave you with, is that infrastructure matters because it helps drive profit and competitive advantage across this entire spectrum of all the things in the hardware portfolio around cloud, analytics, mobile, social, and of course it has to be done in a secure way. Now, I have the distinct pleasure of inviting a customer to join us on stage, somebody who's flown a long way to get here. His name is Mike Regan, and he's the CIO of the Cleveland Clinic, but not the one in Cleveland, the one in Abu Dhabi. So Mike, if you could come join me on stage, appreciate you taking us through your story. There you are.
Thanks, Tom. I wanted to just share a little bit of our journey thus far at Cleveland Clinic Abu Dhabi. Cleveland Clinic Abu Dhabi is located in the United Arab Emirates, in the capital of Abu Dhabi. It's about 2 hours away from Dubai. Our facility there is a tertiary and quaternary care facility. Really what that means is that provides the most complex and highly specialized healthcare for the patients of Abu Dhabi. Our vision for IT systems here, let me tell you a little bit about the facility first. So the Sands Exposition Hall here is around 500,000 square feet of usable space. Our facility in Cleveland Clinic Abu Dhabi is a little over 4.5 million square feet and about 2.5 million square feet of usable space. So about 4 times the size of this center here today. This is the first time that a top US-ranked healthcare organization has replicated their care model outside North America and really done this from a greenfield facility. From an IT perspective, when we started to look at what's the vision for this new facility, how could we design a truly digital hospital, something that was integrated, that provided enhanced patient experience, as well as clinical excellence. This really meant that we had to take a look in 2009 at really providing a private cloud. In 2009, I didn't really understand what a software-defined data center was. And as our design emerged and as we continued to progress the design, we were able to really start to see the benefits of really why am I doing cloud. Having a virtualized converged network for the entire facility, having virtualized servers and storage, and a virtualized desktop infrastructure really allowed me to have agility for our business. Today, we have more than 5,000 virtual machines running in our data center. These are desktop storage real-time systems. These are enabling us to really provide a better mobility for our end users. The benefits for us to deliver this solution really came about as we looked at how IT is going to function as a service. We were able to embed our resources directly with the business, because I'm not worried now anymore about managing IT operations. I'm really worried about managing business capacity. Our ability to excel in enhancing patient experience, one of the examples that we did is we actually provide a custom entertainment solution to our patients at the bedside, a bedside terminal. This allows us to have the patients control their complete environment, so they can control the lighting in their rooms, the temperature controls, the blind controls, their entertainment systems. They can even order their entire menu through this desk side tablet. This is highly customized exactly to what they need. So if, for example, they have a diagnosis of having diabetes, that chocolate chip cookie doesn't appear on their menu. But it's tailored directly to them. If they want to connect with loved ones or their family, they're able to use Skype directly from that tablet and have personal video conferencing directly from their bed in our facility. Obviously, having a completely virtualized multi-tenant data center, this private cloud concept, really trying to drive to a software-defined data center, it allowed us to really rethink how we're going to do IT as a service. Right now, we have a hybrid kind of outsourced model that allows us to have managed services for SOC, NOC, service desk, off premises, but also to have outsourced embedded resources from IBM providing those technical services directly to our frontline caregivers at the point of service. This really helped us really change the way that IT is delivered and the way it's looked at directly by our business. Now, when there's a request that comes from our pharmacy team or from our nursing team, they're able directly to know that individual directly. They're embedded right next to them. They're able to innovate at that time. I could go on and share a lot more. I have a session tomorrow, Executive Edge, in the afternoon if you'd like to hear more. But I'm going to turn this back over to Tom. Thank you.
Stay up there with me, Mike. Oh. Thanks. Great story. And thank you, Mike, for helping to tell it. You know, as Mike and I got to know each other, he was sharing a lot of this, and I'll do a little bit more demand gen for your session tomorrow. They're doing some really innovative things, not just the menu by the tablet, which, by the way, I don't have diabetes, and my wife would say the chocolate chip cookie shouldn't be on the menu for me either. But I will tell you, they're also doing some very advanced things with the electronic medical records, like making them available on mobile devices, making them available to patients. I mean, I was thinking about all the paperwork I could save, having to fill out over and over and over if you could actually get this information to be transferred. Having some discussions about that earlier today with one of the other speakers that will be coming up from healthcare. But I think there's some really good things I picked up. So, you know, one thing about Cleveland Clinic is there's an incredible brand that you've got to protect there in Abu Dhabi as well. And I'm sure that the brand leaders in Cleveland, who you're going to visit, I know, from here, are very conscious of that, as they want to make sure it is top quality care, whether it's in Cleveland or in Abu Dhabi. I heard Mike say software-defined data center. I think, you know, the flexibility that he can provide, the resiliency that he can provide, filling up those systems, 5,000 virtual machines. So some great examples of where infrastructure matters, in this case for delivering healthcare. But I think through this week you will see many, many cases of where infrastructure matters for the world and for all of us who live in it. So with that, I'm going to say thank you very much for your time. Thank you for being here with us. Thank you for your business. Back over to you, Stephen.
Okay, thank you, Tom and Mike. I think some great little takeaways there. You know, I loved Mike's comment that he's no longer worried about managing IT. He's worried about managing the business. And a great stat from Tom, 70% of organizations believe that IT innovation can create competitive advantage, but only 10% are ready to take advantage of it. So I think Tom's pitch and what Mike said has really set the stage to answer a lot of questions related to this unique moment that we find ourselves in. Questions such as, what will we make of this unprecedented amount of data that flows around the world? How will we use these powerful tools for business and technology services that are now available in the cloud? And how will we create global networks of employees and consumers? How will we engage with the emerging global culture, which is not defined by age or geography? Cloud analytics, mobile and social generate massive amounts of data, massive amounts of data. If you can extract new and insightful information from your company's data and the data that's available to your company, your business will become more competitive. Conversely, if your sensitive data gets into the wrong hands, your reputation can be tarnished and your business will suffer. Data is all about security and economics. In order to get the most value from your data, your choice of storage infrastructure matters. To explore this, I'd like to welcome on stage General Manager, IBM Storage and Software Defined Systems, Jamie Thomas.
Good morning, or good afternoon rather. I'm still in the morning, but it is afternoon. And welcome to Edge 2014. As I listened to Tom's comments about considerations of new deployment models, including cloud, and you think about this explosion of data that is driven by the shifts in social and mobile, I've decided there's a great opportunity for many of us in the room. We have the opportunity to become the data scientists of our organizations, because we are truly the stakeholders that will help our organizations understand how to take advantage of this new natural resource called data. And furthermore, how to take advantage of the infrastructure that supports that resource. When we think about some of these statistics, truly Google, Facebook, and Twitter have changed social interaction forever in terms of consumer expectation of time and speed. When we look at mobile traffic, the majority of mobile traffic is data related and not voice today. And all of us are now generating 2,500 petabytes at a minimum daily of new information. How do we take advantage of that? How do we truly become those data scientists? So let's look at what this means to data economics. We believe this is a two-pronged attack front, if you will. When you look at existing storage environments, many of you have spent millions of dollars on your current infrastructure, including storage. You're expecting to get controlled data growth out of that environment, a systematic expectation around continuous availability with improvements to the bottom line. And likewise, when we look at the new systems of engagement, there's an expectation that many organizations can create a new front office experience driven by the intense personalization that is now possible through social and mobile applications. This requires a next generation of infrastructure, one that has speed, agility, and scale that supports the changing dynamics and needs of this environment. And furthermore, we think there's a unique opportunity to bring together the expertise of the back office with the innovation of the front office. So when we look at existing storage environments today, it somewhat parallels the statistic that Tom shared. Most of our organizations that we look at are not necessarily ready for the new era, the next generation. And in fact, less than 50% of stakeholders, business stakeholders, believe that they've got the infrastructure in place for the next agenda. But we believe that with a systematic approach, many of our clients are capitalizing on the ability to improve storage utilization, which on average is about 20% today, improve capacity, while also meeting the needs of continuous availability of that infrastructure. And furthermore, we think there's an opportunity to have the infrastructure be much more aware of the application and business needs, so that we're also achieving business insight while we meet the needs of operational efficiency. Clients that we've worked with have achieved the goals on the right-hand side. Improved utilization up to 50%, dramatic improvements in performance and energy conservation. Likewise, when we look at this next generation of workloads, once again, it has an intensity around it that's characterized by speed and scale. The state of the art in this environment are infrastructures that truly understand the applications and the workloads and respond dynamically to meet those needs. They tier storage to the most appropriate tier, bringing into play tape, flash, disk to achieve those end business goals. And they do it by capitalizing on commodity hardware, in many cases commodity storage, to meet the economic equation, to close that equation. Our experience with clients in this arena has given us a fundamental understanding of what is achievable. If we look at what Watson achieved, which employed these storage mechanisms, Watson, during its competition, consumed 200 million pages of information in a matter of minutes, including Wikipedia. We know that we can scale without limits to 1 billion petabytes, which for those of you who do need a visual, is 1 million city blocks of traditional data centers with traditional disk storage. We can achieve significant economic advantage through the automatic invocation of things like tape and performance, in some cases up to 6 times improved performance through the invocation of flash, all done automatically. So we believe that there's an opportunity for a next generation of storage. Today, we're focusing on 3 main tenets associated with our storage business. Software-defined storage, which allows flexibility for hardware deployment. The infusion of flash across our product line for improved performance. And the next journey of storage virtualization for optimization of existing environments. Our clients, like Coca-Cola Bottling Company, USAA, and SSB, are doing this. They're achieving business insight while also achieving economics. Clients like Prudential and Pelephone are also achieving cloud-scale storage deployments with improved utilization and lessened systems administration cost. So how can you take advantage of this agenda? Today, we are announcing the refresh of our entire storage product line. First of all, storage virtualization. We're advancing storage virtualization in the context of our StoreWise and SVC product families to extend our reach to more than 260 IBM and non-IBM hardware devices. Through the infusion of real-time compression, we can now support 5 times the data on the same hardware deployment, taking advantage of the tried and true implementation across more than 55,000 installations worldwide. We're announcing the infusion of flash across the product line. Last year, we announced a $1 billion investment in flash. Since then, we've shipped more than 2,000 flash systems and over 100 petabytes of data of flash. In particular, in the first quarter, we revamped our flash product line, combining flash with our state-of-the-art virtualization in our V840 delivery. And today we're announcing the infusion of flash in our high-end DS8000 product line. Through flash enclosures, we can now achieve 3.5 times the performance, decrease spatialization by 50%, and reduce power consumption by 12%. Come hear Arvind Krishna speak about this innovation more tomorrow and learn what it can truly do to improve workload performance in our systems area. We've also, this past week, announced our software-defined storage portfolio. It is anchored by this new offering, codenamed Elastic Storage. Elastic Storage is the storage that powered IBM Watson and supercomputers across the world, now made available for commercial use. As I said before, it exploits storage of any type, anywhere. It has elastic scaling characteristics that allow us to meet the changing needs and spikes in these kinds of workload environments. It furthermore allows for automated data governance, allowing us to easily meet the needs of those applications, invoking flash, tape, and disk as needed. It employs state-of-the-art security encryption, meeting the latest standards for FIPS, NIST, and data privacy security requirements. And coming soon to SoftLayer as a cloud deployment model in the third quarter. So it's these capabilities combined together that we think will allow you to set the storage agenda for your organization. We are committed to opening up our storage capabilities through open APIs, as indicated through OpenStack, Hadoop, POSIX, and many others, and continuing to surface our capability as services to allow you to have more flexibility to achieve economics and business insight for your organization. But now I'd like to invite a few of our key clients on the stage with me to further explore this from their perspective. And first of all, I'd like to invite to the stage Mike Smith, Chief Information Officer of Lee Memorial Health Systems. Welcome, Mike. Thank you. Next, I'd like to invite to the stage Greg Lavender, CTO for Cloud Architecture and Infrastructure Engineering, Citi. Welcome. Welcome, Greg. Thank you. Have a seat. So we're here with a few of our friends who are interested in storage, hopefully. And Mike, first of all, you're in an industry that I think all of us understand. We think we understand because we're consumers of healthcare. And I know you've been taking Lee Memorial through this journey in terms of some of the changes that have been occurring in the healthcare industry. Can you share more with us about some of those challenges and how you're shepherding Lee Memorial through this?
Be happy, Jamie. You know, I think we are like all other businesses in the country. There are major competitive challenges with the business that we operate. We have the need for cloud storage. We have the need for mobility, all that. But in addition, we're challenged with, I think, special issues that we're trying to deal with. We're being asked to reduce costs and improve quality of healthcare in ways that's never been done before. The costs of healthcare are really challenging our country right now, and they're levying a big burden on all companies like IBM and others who are trying to compete. So with that kind of plunge, tremendous technology solutions, putting those in place and working with the organization to absorb those investments. And probably the electronic health record is the leader in that investment that we're making, along with advanced clinical diagnostics. Now, those technologies are creating massive amounts of data, and that data has to go somewhere. And it's got to be readily available in real time and accessible and highly reliable and all that sort of thing. So against that data, we're being asked to put in advanced analytics, clinical decision support, major backups, kinds of things, and that a tremendous demand infrastructure, in fact, all infrastructure in general. So we're dealing with that, and I'm pleased to say IBM has been our storage technology partner, and for that matter, the processing technology partner for 17 years, and we have every belief that that the technologies that you talked about earlier and the ones yet to be discussed are going to help us really deal with those challenges.
Okay, thanks, Mike. Greg, you know, you and I have discussed the journey there at Citi many times, and you've been at the forefront of pushing this new cloud agenda and the changes in infrastructure and automation, particularly around software-defined, that are really required to make a difference in an organization of that size. Can you share that topic?
Amy, we have dealt in over 100 countries, so cloud is the table stakes of what we're trying to do. But we don't actually say the word cloud anymore at Citi. We talk about cloud economics at cloud scale. So in order for us to basically scale horizontally, then it requires a new economics as a result of using commoditized compute, next generation networking, 10 and 40 gigabit, and software-defined storage. But let me explain actually what that is, because we know how to scale up really well. We've partnered with IBM for years on building scale up the systems of record, and that's just about managing that capacity and managing that utilization over time. But as you look at the next generation of application built by the cloud scale application model that's originally scaling, using less expensive or cheaper server architectures and lower cost commodity storage architectures. And the amount of disruption that's going on in the industry in this space is unprecedented in my 28 years doing infrastructure engineering. So what happens when you scale horizontally is you increase complexity. And that's what the fear is about horizontal scaling is I'm going to have thousands of servers in my application running across thousands of servers across data centers, the same application spread across data centers. How do I basically also bring my storage along with that, and how do I bring the network along? And so the only way you can solve that kind of and that scaling problem is through the software and the new management technologies and the replication technologies and the compression technologies that come with that. So I think that's really the change that's happening in the industry and what we're embracing at Citi. So whether it's big data, whether it's object storage, whether it's new generation, archive, these scale-out commodity storage technology, a whole new functions to be written at scale, reliably, running continuously around the globe. And that's really what we're trying to do, and we're looking forward to the partnership with IBM as they continue to advance their software-defined portfolio. We've already successfully deployed their elastic storage technology in one of our key mission-critical applications. Got 100x performance speed up, not 100%, 100 times faster performance speed up by using both their elastic compute Symphony technology and the elastic storage clustered file system technology.
So I hope that everyone heard that number of 100 times. It's pretty impressive. But I think that, too, this is the holy grail of data centers, right? It's been so challenging to achieve the automation and scale that many traditional data centers have wanted to achieve. And hopefully, with these kinds of approaches, there's hope for many operational facilities. Mike, you're actually stewarding Lee Memorial, though, through a much bigger agenda there, because you're really providing patient services to a more holistic ecosystem. And I know that's caused you to think intently about your infrastructure and your storage selection. Can you share more with us about that?
I sure can, Jamie. So let's think about what it means from a practical point of view. We have now, well, let me back up. In the past, we had paper records throughout the health system, throughout physician offices in the community, that sort of thing. And healthcare is very information intensive and very fragmented, or historically has been. Today, we have implemented our new electronic health record, which, by the way, is from a company named Epic, and it's powered by IBM throughout on storage and processing. We've implemented that single record in all of our hospitals, many of our physician offices in the community, outpatient centers, and so on. So it's making a profound difference in care delivery and quality throughout. But we have to be mindful that when we implement those technologies, now we're impacting patient care directly. It's one thing to impact that patient care if a family member has to go to a physician office and the records aren't available, and now the physician has to guess what's going on. But think about it if it's one of your family members who happens to be in an intensive care unit, and that family member may be very ill, and that information from that electronic record may be needed. And it doesn't have to be so bad as the system could go down. It may just be response time problems. And now all of a sudden it's a distraction to that provider and may cause that provider to not deliver care, but maybe even create harm. Or if you think somebody in the audience may have a premature child they had, maybe a 2-month-old baby in the neonatal intensive care unit, very fragile, hanging on to life by a thread. Everybody has to be focused on that care delivery, and the infrastructure we put in place and the applications that we put in place have to be robust and cannot fail and cannot have data integrity problems. So the bar is really high, getting higher every day. I think our Lorraine Martelli with our infrastructure group told me that we're now doubling the storage every year. Doubling the storage every year. We have to have backups and all kinds of things. So the demands are great, and it's up to us to meet the challenge. And by the way, as one of the other speakers said, there's nobody offering to write bigger checks for us.
Yeah. I think all of us, whether we've had a serious illness or someone in our family, the criticality of what you do and the fact that lives are on the line many times with this kind of an operation that you run, very much hits home, I think, to all of us. Greg, in terms of this cloud journey, I mean, we've spoken many times about culture change, right? Citi is clearly a large organization. You've been in the role of breaking down some of those silos, not only between application development and operations, but within other aspects of the organization. And that's had a factor on some of your choices as well. Can you elaborate on that journey a bit more?
Yeah, I mean, technology change is often sort of instills fear in people because the last thing you want is a business impacting outage. And so therefore, when you change the infrastructure architecture, right, the application architectures have to change as well to take advantage of these new capabilities. And then the operating models of the IT staff, has to change. And so people may be comfortable managing a large storage frame, and that seems very sort of a well-known set of procedures and operational requirements. And then now you start sort of spreading your storage assets across the data center. Right, you no longer sort of put them in a silo where you have storage admins and over here and server admins over there and network admins running around in between. You've got to really look at the whole system as an end-to-end engineered platform, meeting varied workloads. And so what the software-defined technologies is doing is, it's got to also have really strong management capabilities. You have to have good sort of operational telemetry that's coming out of the software infrastructure that's monitoring this distributed storage pool. But the advantage you get out of that is you no longer have to overcapacitize, because everybody that does vertical scaling always builds in 30, 40, 50% or more headroom. We allocate more storage than we actually are going to consume because we're afraid we might run out and we don't have the time to go provision, a new RAID group. And so with the software technology, if we get the true elastic capability out of it, the dynamic load balancing, the dynamic provisioning, you can drive utilization up to a much higher percentage for the existing infrastructure to get much better economics out of it. And then you can burst, into not just burst the compute, but you can burst the storage to basically get capacity on demand. And I think that's the real inflection point that's happening in the industry. That's where a lot of the innovation is creating opportunity for us in the infrastructure to deliver a whole new class of service to our application teams, which will give us the agility, the speed, the time to market that Tom was talking about in his opening remarks. And I think once we achieve that, the economics of what we have to deliver at scale, we'll have some headroom in terms of the cash we have available to do other things, because we can basically recover a lot of that cost that's locked up in the static capacity management of the infrastructure to a much more dynamic way of operating. And we can provision, deploy, and grow our capacity within minutes, okay? If not less than an hour for sure, as opposed to taking days and weeks as it is today with a lot of forward planning.
Okay, well, I think, gentlemen, we're almost at the end of our panel, but one quick comment from you. If you had a crystal ball and can see into the future, what does the future look like? I mean, you've already made a few of those key points already, but Mike, what?
I think it's going to continue to be more demand for greater capacity, higher speed, more value. I agree with what Greg said, the need to have better management capabilities to manage all this data, back it up, know what to do with it is going to be a very big deal, and we're just excited about IBM's advancements in that area.
Greg?
Yeah, I mean, with the growth rates we see in storage, it demands a new architecture. It demands sort of horizontally scaling storage, not just horizontally scaling compute. That doesn't mean it's the end of life for fiber channel SANs. They're going to still be around. I see those going to more all flash for high performance IOPS. So you'll see much more flash into that architecture. But I think flash becomes ubiquitous across the scale out storage models, and the software defined storage will basically do the dynamic tiering required to basically take advantage of flash or in memory or on spinning disk, to give you a balanced, storage architecture to meet the dynamic workloads that are coming at you.
Okay, well, thank you, gentlemen. Thanks for sharing your perspective. Two very different industries, but very helpful to all of us. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So just have to wait for the music then. So just to wrap up, hopefully that gives you a perspective of the IBM storage agenda. We're serious about storage, from software-defined to flash and fusion to the next generation of virtualization. We believe this is an agenda that once again can help you solve both your operational characteristics and your overall needs to change the business within your organization. Please continue the journey with us this week as we kick off Executive Edge for Storage tomorrow. We have many of our worldwide experts here to continue the in-depth conversations with you. Thank you very much for being our client.
Okay, and thank you to Jamie, and also thank you to Mike and Greg. I think a couple of real takeaways from there. Obviously, the headline grabber, the times 100 improvement in performance. That, ladies and gentlemen, that's not a marginal improvement, right? I think you would all agree. That's beyond marginal. It's beyond significant. It is game-changing. It is game-changing. So Tom and Jamie have just both taken us through how this whole aspect of data and data management can really change industries. And in regard to systems, many of you have been asking questions regarding IBM's plan to sell our System X business to Lenovo. Now, this is a great opportunity to re-emphasize IBM's excitement about this deal and our commitment in making a seamless transition as it closes. This transaction is the next phase of strategic collaboration between the two companies. This time in the data center that's going to span servers, storage, software, and maintenance. And I know it's Lenovo's intention to continue to pursue this innovation in x86 systems, leveraging their scale, operational efficiency, and of course, their channel presence. Lenovo, in return, will become our preferred x86 server vendor, proving that this will be a long and fruitful relationship for all parties. Our next presenter is here to talk more about x86 and Pure Systems and how Lenovo's scale and supply chain efficiency adds up to greater value for you, our clients. But first, to give you some perspective, take a look at this. And now please welcome General Manager x86 and Pure System Solutions, Adalio Sanchez.
Thank you. Thank you, Stephen. Does this work yet? Good afternoon. Come on, guys, come on. It's not that late in the afternoon. Good afternoon. We're not all from Asia here. I just got back from Asia, but you didn't. Good afternoon and welcome to Edge. There we go, here we go. So look, in our time this afternoon with you today, we're going to provide you a perspective of the key trends we're seeing in the x86 system space, and more importantly, how we're addressing them. We're also going to provide you a deeper perspective on the recent announcement of Lenovo's planned acquisition of our server business, and Christian Theismann from Lenovo will be here to join me with that discussion. And lastly, we're very fortunate to have two of our best clients here today, Rohit Lal from the Coca-Cola Company, and Ron Grabian from the Southern California Edison Company, that will share with us how they are tackling some key challenges in their environments. So let's begin. The server segment, the x86 server segment, has undergone a massive transformation over the past 30 years. And it now represents 3/4 of all server spending and 98% of all systems shipped. However, the segment now has matured, and there are a number of very interesting disruptive forces all taking place aimed at improving IT cost and efficiency. We have the shift to cloud underway, both private and public, to improve operational costs. This is changing, as we all know, how applications are created. It's also changing the capabilities required in the hardware, as resiliency is now built up into the software. And more importantly, it's changing who physically buys the systems. Then there's the rise of convergence, the integration of compute, networking, and storage to simplify management and reduce hardware. And this is why the converged system segment within the x86 space is growing at 40% annually. As Greg mentioned, the importance of systems management continues to increase. And I would even put SDE, or as I like to affectionately call it, software-defined everything, into this category as clients look for higher levels of software management to virtualize the entire data center and gain efficiency. We're also seeing new decision makers like CMOs have major roles in IT purchases. And lastly, everybody wants to be Google. Everybody wants to build their own servers, which is giving rise to these new entrants we call ODMs, which are now growing very fast. Now, the market has matured, and clients are certainly getting more sophisticated in their needs. And in my opinion, the successful x86 systems provider must have 3 major strengths. Number 1, innovation. We must innovate. The second, we must have systems that are highly optimized to the workloads that you deem important. And third, we must have tremendous scale in order to compete effectively in the marketplace. So let me explain each of these. A systems provider today in the x86 space must increasingly innovate. And it's no longer acceptable to simply pack a bunch of industry standard componentry into a box and call it a system, as several of our competitors often and historically have done. Innovation to us, ladies and gentlemen, is real systems design, from the bottom up with real IP to deliver real client value. And IBM has actually held a very significant lead in this area in x86 innovation for a number of years across our portfolio since we first introduced our Enterprise X architecture almost a decade ago. Now with our new X6, our 6th generation X architecture, the advantages are even greater. With the advent of new technologies like XFlash, the fact that our new systems have a modular packaging design created for maximum resiliency of enterprise-class applications, and of course, the system brings with it world record performance across key application benchmarks. Pure Systems. When we began the design of Pure Systems a few years back, we affectionately called it Clean Slate, because we started the design from scratch to address this growing need of converging compute, networking, and storage into one elegant system. Today, Flex System is the most advanced blade system on the planet. And it is the foundation for our Pure Systems family across our entire hardware and software group, including System X, Power, and Software Group. These systems are pre-configured, are manageable solutions, and maximize time to value for our clients. And last fall, we introduced our next generation dense platform, NextScale, and this is all around taking advantage of this new fast-growing category in x86 called dense, with new levels systems that have new levels of flexibility because it provides extreme scalability in an ultra-dense package with very high efficiency and very, very strong cooling capabilities. So this whole thing around innovation, this requirement around innovation, we have pretty well covered. System X has been an innovator in this space, and you can expect us to continue that for, quite frankly, forever. Why? Because it's in our genetics. Now, the next element of a successful x86 strategy is around workload optimization. This is where systems and software and solutions all come together to meet specific client needs. And with the market maturing and clients demanding unique solutions today, tuned for unique workload types, to achieve maximum cost and performance efficiency as well as time to value, this level of optimization is important. Innovation is still key here, but it's around integrating all the pieces together around specific workloads. For example, we've talked a lot about analytics. An analytics workload demands access to large amounts of data to see trends, to predict, and to make assessments. And our systems are tuned in this case for scalable performance with rapid I/O for faster queries. If you look at HANA, IBM is the leader in SAP HANA solutions because our systems are optimized like no other in this application category. We offer pre-tested, pre-configured solutions in t-shirt sizes for HANA, small, medium, large, extra large, so our clients can enjoy quicker time to value. As a result of this, the largest SAP HANA system in the world is built on System X, and SAP's HANA Enterprise Cloud is largely built on System X, something we're all very proud of. In high performance or technical computing, we often see the need for hyperscale density, performance, and extreme energy efficiency. And because of our ability to tune high-performance workloads and optimize them with software like GPFS and our platform computing solutions like no other vendor, IBM is a major leader in this workload space. It is also why when the top 500 computers in the world, supercomputers in the world list is published, you often see System X as the the brand with the #1 number of entries there. Ladies and gentlemen, our strategy is to optimize our systems across these 5 key workload areas that you see with absolute precision. And by doing so, maintain TBR's #1 ranking in client satisfaction for x86 servers, as well as I stand on top of ITIC's ranking of top vendors for reliability and uptime. Workload optimization is critical in today's environment to achieve maximum efficiency and time to value. One size certainly does not fit all, and we're tuning our solutions to meet these macro trends. Now, the third element of a successful x86 strategy in this day and age is scale. This means having the maximum procurement cost leverage in a world of rapid commoditization in order to provide clients the best possible costed solutions. It means having nimble manufacturing, nimble high-volume manufacturing to meet the needs of clients that are wanting customized servers, and of course to compete with the ODMs that are emerging in the marketplace. This is what our planned acquisition of our x86 business by Lenovo is all about. It's about scale. It was, frankly speaking, our missing link, and this will allow us, with Lenovo, to make 1 + 1 = 3. What do I mean by that? By combining our IBM heritage of x86 systems innovation, coupled with Lenovo's scale and supply chain efficiency, equates to greater client value for you. And let me tell you, I've been all around the world constantly since this announcement, and the reaction around the world from clients, our business partners, everywhere around, has been overwhelmingly positive. Yes, we've had to do a lot of speaking, but by and large, it's been overwhelmingly positive. Most industry analysts and technology partners interpret the announcement as a win-win scenario for all of you. But let me also tell you that this transaction is not simply an acquisition by Lenovo, but rather, as Stephen mentioned, it's the next phase in the strategic collaboration between the two companies, this time in a data center, spanning servers, storage, software, and maintenance. For example, IBM will provide maintenance for 5 years for Lenovo systems, and Lenovo will become IBM's x86 server provider after the transaction closes. Key ISV relationships that we have in the marketplace with many of you here will continue and will likely deepen. The deal is on track to close later this year, and our aim is to make sure that there's a seamless transition to all of you, our clients. As Lenovo and IBM have both stated, the focus and investment on our x86 roadmap and portfolio continues without disruption. At the same time, IBM continues to make every effort to ensure our clients and our business partners and all of you can invest with confidence today, knowing that IBM and Lenovo will be there during this whole transition. So with that, let me now welcome Christian Theismann, Lenovo's General Manager for Global Accounts, to provide you Lenovo's perspective on this planned transition. Christian.
Thank you. Well, good afternoon, everybody. It's actually, I'm very proud and it's a great honor to speak here in front of you at this wonderful IBM Edge event of, IBM System and Technology Group's most important customers, business partners. As Adalio said, I'm running the global commercial business at Lenovo, so the Fortune 500 companies are actually my customers. And I joined Lenovo 9 years ago when we did the first acquisition of IBM's PC division. And actually it was not an acquisition, we created a new global player in a very commoditized industry by combining an Asian business with a China heritage, with a global business with a Western heritage to create a new global player we called Lenovo. And it was, at that point in time, for us very important as we went on this journey to really did a couple of things right. The first one is protecting our business, protecting the core talent that we inherited coming over from IBM at that point in time, the customer base, the quality of the legendary ThinkPad brand. Secondly, we drove operational efficiency. This was one of the things that at that point in time, the IBM PC business was lagging, and we created very quickly an end-to-end new IT system, a new manufacturing footprint that allowed us to be very competitive and efficient in the marketplace. The third most important thing for us at that point in time is we needed to create trust. Trust with customers and trust with partners that us as a company that is newly on the map will sustain in the business. And we did this on the one hand side with a very strong partnership with IBM over the last 9 years, like Adalio mentioned. But the other one was to create a culture of doers. And if you listen a little bit to Lenovo advertising, actually that is what we are all about, a company of doers that has a do culture. We do what we say and we own what we do as a fundamental culture. So 9 years later, what have we achieved? Lenovo has become the biggest PC company in the world. We have outgrowing the industry now since 20 quarters in a row for 5 years. At the beginning, we merged 10,000 IBMers with 10,000 Lenovians in Asia to create a company of 20,000 people. Today, we're a company of close to 50,000 people. We are a company that is publicly traded on the Hong Kong Stock Exchange. We have ownership stake from the Academy of Science in China, Texas Pacific Group, General Atlantic Partners. IBM and Google also have owned and will own stake in the company, but most of the shares are publicly traded. We are a company without a formal headquarter. We have principal operations in Beijing, in Morrisville, in RTP, in North Carolina, in Japan, where actually the ThinkPad is still developed, and in Singapore and in Milan for our European operations. And we have a leadership team that is composed of 8 different nations of Western and Eastern talent. I think it's important that you understand where Lenovo is coming from to understand how we are approaching this next step for us as a company. The way we have outgrown the industry in the last 5 years or 20 quarters is just of one thing, and that is innovation. While everybody else in the traditional PC industry has treated the PC as a commodity, we have invested in in-house research and development. We actually doubled the size of engineers over the last 5 to 6 years. We have created more patents than anybody else in our industry. We actually are getting a significant part of our income today from our competitors who are using our patents, even in a commoditized industry like PCs. So we have a deep appreciation and understanding how important innovation is to this industry. Nevertheless, this is a major step for us going forward as we are acquiring now the IBM x86 division. And actually, I'm very pleased that Adalio Sanchez will join us as the future Senior Vice President and General Manager of that business in Lenovo, and 7,500 more IBMers joining the Lenovo family. We are actually not acquiring a product. We are not acquiring a part of the business. We are acquiring an end-to-end operating business, including development, manufacturing, quality, sales, services, and equally important, the whole ISV relationship that comes with it to really sustain the ecosystem. So as Adalio said, we are on track to close the deal as we are planning to do. And I believe there will be significant opportunities here for us to work together. We talked about how the two cultures fit together from an R&D perspective. I believe that the focus on innovation from a product design perspective will be something that I see a lot of opportunity also going forward as we are combining these businesses from an opportunity perspective. Lenovo actually has built a lot of its success on a very deep and strong commitment to the channel. We have been named many times over the last couple of years as the most channel-friendly company. And I believe that this is a huge opportunity for us also to grow going forward. I also talked about our focus on operational excellence. And here, again, we see as a lot of commodities that go into the server business come from the same suppliers that go in the PC business, a lot of opportunity for efficiency and for scale going forward. So let me cover as a last statement here about product roadmaps, like Adalio also already covered. Lenovo does have an existing one-way, two-way rack and tower business that is mainly designed for SMB and for emerging markets. On the other hand side, with closing this transaction, we will have a full tier 1 portfolio going all the way from one-way and two-way to high-performance computing and the blade business. We believe that these two portfolios are hugely complementary to each other because they are addressing different parts of the market, different values and different price points. So you will see that both companies will do a full product refresh in September as we are going into the next generation of Intel, and that we will maintain the roadmaps the way they are. Also, we are very strong collaborating with IBM on the entire hardware portfolio that goes around the server, from a storage perspective, from a networking perspective, and as Adalio already mentioned, that we have a strong partnership with IBM Services. So this is what I wanted to share with you. So this is a great opportunity for us. Adalio, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Christian. Thank you, Christian. Are we back? Thank you, Christian. Look, I think Christian said a few very important things. Commitment to innovation, commitment to the channel, commitment to the roadmap, commitment to all of you. I'd like to now emphasize one last point here on the strategic collaboration between IBM and Lenovo post the acquisition, and that's around integrated systems. IBM and Lenovo will become strategic partners in the Pure Systems journey going forward. After the planned transaction closes, Lenovo will supply IBM x86 infrastructure components like the Flex System chassis, networking, and some options so that IBM can continue delivering Pure Systems and Flex Systems families for power, hybrid systems for Pure App and Pure Data. At the same time, IBM will, on the other hand, authorize Lenovo to sell the V7000 Flex storage device and the Smart Cloud Entry so Lenovo can deliver to the marketplace x86-based Flex and integrated systems. So make no mistake, IBM, ladies and gentlemen, remains in the Pure Systems journey, and we will become partners, IBM and Lenovo, going forward. So now, as I mentioned earlier, we have a very fortunate opportunity here to have a few clients with us today to have a bit of a discussion. So please help me, please join me in welcoming from the Coca-Cola Company, Rohit Lal, and Ron Grabian, manager of Data House Warehousing from Southern California Edison Company. Both of these individuals have a very broad experience in IT. Please join me. Thank you. Good. Thank you. So gentlemen, thank you for joining us here today in this little chat. So you've heard me describe what we're doing around innovation in System X, how we are optimizing for workloads. So what does that mean to you and your environments in terms of what value does it provide? And more importantly, as you begin to answer that, what business aims do you have in your projects that you're deploying our technology? Ron, let me start with you.
Well, it's actionable insight from vast amounts of data for Southern California Edison. It needs to be fast. It needs to be accessible for our customers and for our staff in the company. If it's not fast for the staff, productivity falls drastically. Customers do not have patience to wait. For example, let me give you a story that in a recent commercial on television, an insurance company was talking about a $100 service. The $100 service, and then it went over to the conference room, and in the conference room are the cartoon characters Lucy and Charlie Brown. And Lucy says it has to be 5 seconds, or 5 cents. And so then it pans back to the gentleman, and he says, well, not everything can be 5 cents. Back to Lucy, it has to be 5 cents. And of course, a couple of days later, I'm in a conference with some of the people from our customer service operating unit, and they were talking about the performance they were expecting. And what did she say? It has to be 5 seconds. And of course, she puts her hands down just like that. And of course, she began to look like Lucy to me at that instant. But the customers, they really need their data. They're not going to wait for it. And we're deploying this information to them on mobility devices as well. And people with mobile devices, if you don't get it to them quickly, they're going to be off to Scrabble and Facebook. So you have to be quick about getting it back to them. And this technology allows that to happen. So SAP HANA and IBM System X, that did this trick for us.
Wonderful, wonderful. Now Rohit, you guys also use SAP in your environment, but you implemented a cloud solution. That was what you're trying to do, right? Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, the Coca-Cola company always has had a strong franchise model. We make the concentrate, and local bottlers who know the local business go ahead and then manufacture and bottle the product and sell to them. And that model worked well for a while until the national chains came along. And when the national chains came along, somebody sitting in Bentonville, Arkansas, doesn't really care who's delivering a product in Bangor, Maine. I mean, he cares about right product, right time, right cost. So it became more about a cost play and efficiencies. And that's what the focus became for the longest time for us as a franchise system, driving cost out of the system.
So you needed scale too, huh?
We needed scale. Pure skill, yes. So the model changed, but the problem really with cost efficiencies is you don't grow a business by just being efficient and cutting costs. So the company now is rechanging the whole franchise model in a big way to be a lot more collaborative. And the thought process really is we will transition sales territories to individual bottlers, but retain on our back end the supply chain manufacturing. So it'll be a hybrid model. On one hand, where economies of scale matter, supply chain matters, efficiencies matters, we will do the production. But where you need custom intimacy to actually go ahead and sell product out in the field, that was what we will be achieving with this thing. The problem with this model sounds good, is it's hard to have a collaborative model in this day and age working efficiently without IT. You need common data. How do you pass demand from one company to another company? And that's sort of where we come in. CONA stands for Coke One North America, and we are an IT shared system that will be driving the business for 6 bottlers across North America. So for us, it's really been an IT transformation play. Wow. I know Tom kind of talked about IT being an enabler of change, and we truly are the enabler of change across North America.
Great, great. So Kona became a very strategic project, transformational project for you.
Absolutely.
So Ron, let me ask you a question. So when you were going through your project, what technology, how did you make your technology decision, and what did you select and why?
Okay, we selected SAP HANA running on IBM System X. And it's the ability to deliver from IBM, the track record and the quality and service that I've experienced over many years in the business myself. Query performance, cost effectiveness, compatibility with HANA were all important. Let me give some examples on some of the query performance. One example is, again, the Lucy example, where the customers needed to recalculate their bill for the last year if they changed a couple of programs. And they wanted to know what would that have done to their bill. And so it had to be, back in 5 seconds. The best we could do on our legacy systems was 40 seconds. That certainly wasn't going to do the trick. And so by using HANA as on IBM System X, we were able to get 2.5 seconds on the calculation, and that gave us the 5-second response. With a finance example, we used HANA as a sidecar. We took financial information, put it on there with real-time replication, and the query that they ran on the legacy system was 53 minutes. On the HANA on System X is 1 minute and 20 seconds. And so this is the sort of thing, yeah. And one other example with CRM, customer relationship management data, was we took the data off of the original system of BW, moved it onto the HANA system, and we were able to, with the modeling and et cetera, get an improvement of 128 times faster. It was 90 seconds down to 0.7 seconds on those queries. So it depends on the model.
Great.
But
so Jamie, we got 128x over here in this particular environment.
So batch times were 3 to 15 times faster as well. Very important because we weren't able to meet the overnight batch loading capabilities. So compatibility with nearline storage, and also the other important fact about all this is it reduces the development cost. It reduces maintenance cost, which is a year-to-year gain.
Great, great. So Rohit, let me ask you the final question here. You've heard a lot of new products that Jamie has announced, that we're announcing in System X land here. What does the future hold for you in the Coca-Cola company in terms of where you're going?
Obviously, a lot of real-time analytics. We will be running 95% of all bottling operations for the US. So HANA will be a big part of it. The other part will be the private cloud, also the cloud and a hybrid cloud eventually. So that's pretty much where we will be working towards.
So infrastructure matters, huh?
Infrastructure matters.
Absolutely, infrastructure matters. And look, I've got, Ron, a new appreciation for Lucy after this. So listen, gentlemen, thank you very much for sharing your stories here, and thank you for joining us today at our event.
Our pleasure.
Thank you. So as you can see from our discussion with Ron and Rohit, x86 solutions from IBM are indeed having a major impact in delivering business values to our client. And the innovation and workload optimization training that we just talked about is moving full steam ahead. And today we're announcing a number of new IBM x86 solutions from our Flex System series of scalable blades, our 2-node 280, our 4-node 480, our new 8-node X880. These, ladies and gentlemen, are the first scale-up to 8-socket blades in the market today. And they are designed and optimized for mission-critical and enterprise virtualization workloads. We're also introducing a new high-volume System X 3100 M5 system that is ideal for small and medium businesses and distributed environments. For cloud, we're introducing a new hyperscale NextScale cloud solution, as well as Cloud Manager for OpenStack, and a new PureFlex parallel solution for MSPs wanting to do VDI. For big data and analytics, we're introducing new reference architectures for Hadoop, a new optimized system for IBM DB2 with Blue Acceleration, and we're announcing our intent to support HANA on the new X880 Flex System blade scale-up nodes. Over the next few days, our team will be going through more detail on all of these new and exciting x86 and Pure Systems offering, and we're really, really excited to be with you here today on this subject. Now, as you can see, it's a very exciting time and a dynamic time for not only our business, but the entire x86 market as a whole. Through it all, our focus and our determination is to innovate and redefine value targeted at you, our clients. That means innovative products that will continue to roll out. That means we're going to bring deep data center expertise to bear. We will now have the scale and cost efficiency necessary to win in every dimension of the market, and we're going to have a maniacal focus on remaining and being your trusted supplier for x86 solutions going forward. Our goal today and in the planned future with Lenovo is very simple: to become the top player in the x86 segment. And that I mean in every dimension, whether it's around innovation, service, satisfaction, or market share. We have a very bright future ahead, and we look forward to working with all of you, help you realize and surpass your own business objectives. Now, one final reminder before I finish here. Please do not miss our Pure Systems and System X tracks tomorrow. Ron will be there providing more details on his projects. You'll get more details on our strategy, our solutions, and Christian and I and other members will be on a panel where you can ask all your tough questions that you've always wanted to ask about the Lenovo transaction. I also want to encourage all of you to maximize your time here, learn about all the IBM solutions, and also have an opportunity to network with many people from the industry here with vast expertises. So thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to be with us here at Edge, and enjoy the rest of the conference.
Well, thank you, Adalio, and thank you to Rohit, and thank you to Ron for sharing their perspectives, and also for sharing their point of view on x86 Pure, cloud analytics, mobile, and social. I also want to say a very special thank you to all of our client speakers, and I think they deserve another round of applause. Thank you. So, today we've focused on infrastructure innovation as the key to enabling cloud analytics, mobile, and social. And we focused on it from the perspective of what and why. Tomorrow we'll focus on the how infrastructure innovation optimizes cloud, big data, analytics, mobile, social. I would also like to invite you all to join our Executive Edge talks this afternoon at 3 p.m. right here in here. We have a number of amazing speakers lined up who will explore innovation one idea at a time, touching on how thinking differently can have unexpected results. This session is designed to inspire us all to think differently about how we can use technology to transform our organizations. I look forward to seeing you there, and I look forward to seeing you back here tomorrow morning at 8:45 a.m. But before you go, be sure to join us tonight at the Solution Center opening reception. It starts at 5:30 p.m. There's over 50 sponsor solutions to browse through, as well as the IBM Infrastructure Matters Zone. So check it out. Thank you very much. Have a great rest of your day. See you tomorrow morning.
This is an announcement for all attendees. Please proceed to the level where your next